Hello, I'm in my daughter Michelle's kitchen, and we're going to install some kitchen cabinets for her. And so I thought I would walk you through the process of doing a simple kitchen cabinet install. So the first thing I'm going to do is check to see if the ceiling is level. Okay. Now, in an old house, my rule of thumb is that it's better that it look level than be level. Okay. But the exception to that is that your cabinets kind of have to be level so that things don't roll out of them and fall on the floor. So we need to know if since the cabinets are going up against the ceiling, we need to know if it's level or not so that we know which end would be higher and which end would be lower, and start our measurements from the lower end so that we don't get to the point where the cabinet won't fit up against the ceiling. So that's the first step. And that's level. That's close enough to level that we don't have to worry about it, so that's good. So the next step is to measure things and lay out lines for the bottoms of the cabinets and the studs, so that we know where we can screw in. Now, I have this old stud finder from years ago. The last time I needed one on a previous house, and it's dead. I futzed around with it and I can't get it to work. So we're going to use the old-fashioned way, and that is tapping the wall. Okay. So the good news is this house, while it's an older house, it's new enough that the studs are going to be 16 inches on center. So once we determine which wall to measure from, it should be fairly simple. That's what I'm going to do now. That's a stud, of course, because it's the edge of the doorway. And so we should expect to find a stud 16 inches out. And sure enough, okay, so that's 16 inches there. Two. And there is going to be a stud in the corner there, and it is in fact 16 inches. So we've got our studs located. And now we need to measure down from the ceiling so we know where the bottoms of the cabinets will go. Okay, so I have two cabinets that are going to be 18 1/4 from the ceiling, and one that's going to be 36 1/4. And so the short cabinets are going over the refrigerator and over the stove. That leaves us room to hang a microwave underneath, and the taller cabinet, the 36-inch cabinet, will go in the middle over a countertop. Okay, so 18 1/4. I think that was 36 1/4. Yeah. And then I'm just going to draw a level line for each cabinet. Okay, so the next step is to screw this straight piece of wood against to the wall underneath the line that the cabinet bottom will, and then we can rest the cabinet bottom on this strip while we screw it into the wall. Okay, so I'm going to pause the camera now and get set up to do that. I want to get this precise so the cabinet is straight. So that's good and strong, which meant that we definitely hit the studs. So while I'm here, I'm going to put the second strip up from the second cabinet. I'm going to measure the joists and then transfer that measurement to the inside of this cabinet here so that I know where to drive the screws when we're screwing it into the wall so that it hits the studs. So that's the next step. So that's about 15 1/4. Minus 1/2 inch. It's 4 3/4. Fourteen 3/4. Okay, and then the next one. $31 1/2. $31. Okay, next step is to get the cabinet up onto the the ledge and screw it in. But you know, before I do that, I'm going to drill and countersink the backs of the cabinets here for the screws. So since I've got them marked, that'll be pretty easy to do. strip that screw head a little bit, so it's just easier to get another screw. Okay, the cabinet is securely mounted, so now I'm going to take this little temporary strip out. There we go. Alright, I have the second cabinet in place resting on its little rail there, and I have clamped the face frames together to hold them lined up, and I'm going to drill between the two and screw them together so that they will stay tight, and then I will screw the bigger cabinet into the wall. So you have to get it all lined up while the second cabinet is still loose, because you want the face frames to be lined up. I'm just going to drill that hole a little bit deeper, just to make it easier to drive the screws. They're pretty long screws. Okay, the cabinets are all in, and I will leave it to Michelle and her husband to put the doors back on and touch up any nicks and whatever. And then they're going to put a little piece of trim right along the ceiling there, just to trim it out to match the rest of the kitchen, and it'll be done.